0 serve 0.
Where's my headset?
Short serve. Zero serve 0. Zero serve 0.
For those of you watching at home, welcome to the 2015 Suncoast Open. We are live from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Laura McCormick with the WRT, and joining me today on the broadcast is Jeremy Best. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, Laura. Thank you.
Well, starting out here this morning in our first quarterfinal,
1-0.
we have David Bobby Horn versus Anthony Herrera. Herrera with the first point here on the board so far this morning.
Zero 1.
What? Can you hear us? Yeah, I can hear you. Just press S. Did you press S?
One serves 1. Two 1.
All right, ref calls it good. Our ref here today, Brent
3-1.
Walters. So we have David Bobby Horn from Stockton, California here serving. Looks like he's going to get a second serve. All right, that's 3 in a row for Horn here to open our first quarterfinal of the day at the
4 serves 1.
2015 Suncoast Open. 4 serving 1, excuse me.
Great shot.
Five 1. Good serve.
Wow, nice serve there from Horn.
6-1.
Now if we look a little bit at the path that these guys took to get here, we have Anthony Herrera in round 32s
1-6.
defeating Bobby Morales, a local player here in Florida, ranked number 27, defeating him 15-5, 15-4. Round 16s, he faced Gerardo Guevara from Juarez, Mexico, seeded number 11, and had a tougher match against him, defeating him 15-10, 15-13. You know, he was a little frustrated because Guevara is one of our faster players here on the tour. kept picking up lots of balls. David Bobby Horn had a bye in round 32s and then played Matt Fontana, number 14 seed here this weekend, defeating him 3-4. If you guys want to check out the draw, you can go to bit.ly/Suncoast Open 15. Take a look at all the pros who were here this weekend and the tours that they took to get here. Nice side out there for Herrera.
1-6.
So now what's happening there? It looks like Herrera's looking for the hinder, saying Bobby jammed him up.
6-1.
Yeah, I didn't really see that. It's a great pass by Bobby. Great shot. Both of these players have a great style of just control. Very good
1-6.
footing, calm play.
Yeah, it's interesting. They used to be doubles partners. I know they've played on and off together as doubles partners.
Yeah.
So what's that like when you're playing someone who you've been on the same team as? Now you're against him. And we see that a lot here on tour, you know, friends off the court and super competitive on the court. But what's that like as a player, Jeremy?
It's definitely a lot easier to play your partner. I think you're more calm with them. You know their game. Most of the time you have a longer war than you might have with somebody else. And different styles of play come out when you play your partner versus somebody else. Definitely feel more relaxed. Great shot.
Yeah, no, you were talking earlier. You're training in Georgia right now.
That's right.
And your training partner was here this weekend with you as well.
Yes, he was. He actually lost the horn. And Horn just played phenomenal. And, you know, Matt just could not overcome the odds that were faced in his way.
Well, it's nice to see you guys representing when we were there in Atlanta last weekend and coming out to Florida here this weekend too.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament. We've enjoyed it.
Great.
I got to view Bobby and both Anthony at the U.S. Nationals this previous year. And since then, I've really seen a dramatic improvement in Bobby's game.
Yeah, I know Bobby's been training really hard in the last year. He was he just won his first WRT title last month at the 2015 San Luis Open. He was talking about he's changed his diet, he's changed his training habits, and he was talking about how over the last year it's kind of everything's kind of caught up, and now he's feeling really confident, and he's ready to go after #1.
Oh, that's great. He certainly has the ability and control to do it and the speed. He's definitely got a contrasting style than to the other two top players, Jake and Alejandro. Both are more of a power. Although I have seen Jake incorporate some control and finesse in his game that I did not see, maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's nice to see how these guys keep adapting and push each other as they each get stronger.
That's right.
Unfortunate skip there for Herrera as a side out for Horn.
9-3.
Jake has also made some pretty dramatic improvements over the past 6 months. So it's interesting to see where these players are going to go and how they compete in all levels and all federations within the racquetball community.
Absolutely.
Great get.
10-3.
I know Bobby said he's been feeling really good so far this week. After he was disappointed at the Atlanta tournament, he didn't do as well as he hoped, but he's gotten some rest here this week, and looks like he's coming out with confidence today in the quarterfinals.
He's certainly looking strong and controlling so far the game, keeping center courts very, very key to winning a match. He's doing that quite well right now.
Nice shot selection there from Herrera, who's going to go ahead and take a timeout. And so are we. We'll hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
All right, we're back with Bobby Horn and Anthony Herrera. I believe the score is 8 serves 11. No, it's 3 serving 11. Excuse me. My bad. It's a little difficult hearing the ref from this distance.
4 serves 11.
There it is, 4-11.
Serves 4.
Ooh, big setup there for Bobby. Looks like he might have been salivating on that one a little bit.
Yeah, might have been a possible missed call by the ref there, but it was very close.
12 serves 4. Serves 4.
Ooh, 13 points for Horn here in game 1 of our first quarterfinal of the morning. Of course, there's more racquetball to come today. Coming up right after this match, we have Jake Bredenbeck against Christian Longoria. At 12 p.m., Andre Parilla versus Sebastian Franco. And 1 p.m., Alex Cardona versus Jaime Martel. Side out there for Horn.
4 serves 13.
Lucky break there for Bobby.
Yeah.
Herrera very upset. How do you mentally stay focused? You know, obviously Herrera's down right now. What do you think he needs to do to change his mentality and maybe get a clean slate going into game 2? Take some momentum with him here.
For every player, it's different. Sometimes it's working out the issues that they're being faced. Sometimes it's just hitting the reset button.
14.
I know many times when you get behind and you feel like you get panicky or put too much pressure on yourself, a lot of times just taking a good timeout like you just did is a good thing to do to kind of reset your battery, reset your mind, your focus.
Well, I think we're going to keep it right here as we see David Bobby Horn staying fresh out there on the court. I'd like to take a moment. Let's get to know Jeremy Best a little bit. Jeremy, you played your first WRT event last week in Atlanta. Is that right?
That's right.
And so we were talking earlier about you getting back out there and really focusing on playing the tours and your goal of 12 tour stops here this year. Tell us a little bit about your racquetball background and your goals with racquetball.
Okay, well, thank you, Laura. 1993, I started playing racquetball. I learned in Lakeland, Florida, and racquetball really took me. It just grabbed me in my heart. I really enjoyed it. I played a lot of sports in high school, but nothing was as challenging and as fun as racquetball. Also, back in those days, there was talk of racquetball really expanding on into the Olympics, and I had a dream to actually go to the Olympics or at least be able to try out for it. So I trained very hard as a young youth person. You know, got playing open around 15, 16 years old and on into the IRT competitiveness, probably around 18. And just
serves 4.
probably not too far after that, family and work just kind of took its toll. Kind of got out of it, and now that I'm older and didn't really get all those goals accomplished, I feel like it's time to get back out there and, you know, see what the best I can do before I get too old, I guess is the best way of putting it. Competing at these levels, you know, you got to be young and agile and be able to recover fast. And sometimes you don't know that exists until you get a little older.
Sure, right. A little bit of a reality check, I guess.
You hear other people talk about it, but you think it's just excuse.
It won't happen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice rally here after the timeout. Ooh, and it works for Herrera as he jams Horn up against the wall there.
Very good shot.
Well, Jeremy, welcome to the WRT, and we'll be following your progress as you continue with your tour stops here this year. Wish you the best of luck pursuing that dream.
Well, thank you.
And a point for Herrera, who's holding off Horn here in game one.
Seems like that timeout did a little bit of refocusing for Anthony. He's coming back strong.
6-14.
It's a good call by the ref. It's 2 bounces.
Nice effort there from Herrera, keeping it alive and giving him 7 points. Bobby looking a little frustrated, like he might need to refocus as well as Herrera starts to creep under his skin a little bit.
Absolutely.
7 serves 14.
A lot of times guys wait too long to call a timeout.
Yeah, that's something we debate a lot here. When is the time to call timeout?
Probably, after 2-3 points, 4 points, probably a good time, especially when you get 3, there's other federations that play racquetball, they only allow 1 timeout, so you have to be very cautious when you take that.
Ref's going to call it.
In the event you get 3 timeouts, it's probably a good idea to take about every 3 or 4 points.
Second serve.
He's trying to close this out. Good serve.
Ooh.
There
All
it
right.
is.
That
First
means
game.
Horn wins first game 15-7 against Anthony Herrera. We'll be right back with more of this first quarterfinal match in just a moment. And we're back live in our first quarterfinal of the 2015 Suncoast Open. This is game 2 between David Bobby Horn, who we see out there in the service box, and Anthony Herrera. Ooh.
Great shots.
Joining me on the mic today is another pro local to the area, Jeremy Best. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
All right, and the first point in game 2 goes to Anthony Herrera.
1-0.
So we saw in game 1, Anthony Herrera calling a timeout
2-0
at 14-3, and it seems to have helped turn around his mental game here as he starts out strong in game 2.
Yeah, he's definitely focusing, playing traditional racquetball.
Yeah, both these guys are some of our more experienced players here on the tour. Anthony Herrera going pro in 2003 and Bobby Horn in 2009. Ooh, showmanship from Herrera. Ooh, ooh, soft touch from Horn, chases it down.
Replay.
And our ref here today, Brent Walters, doing a great job and calls a replay.
Bobby's looking for the avoidable there.
Quite a rally. Oh. Thought Bobby was going to reach for the door. That's a no-no.
very interesting how the avoidable has changed over the years. I remember some 20 years ago, the avoidable was a little more strictly enforced,
3-0.
meaning it wasn't so loosely handed out. Today, especially in other federations and in the USRA, anything and everything is avoidable now. Used to be it had to be set up, fully offensive shot.
3.
As I was saying, the avoidable used to be required to be called, taking
serves
one's
3.
offensive shot away, and the person had to be pretty much fully set. Now it's, you know, many tournaments and players are calling it more so if you even get in somebody's way, or if the ball's a ceiling ball practically. So it's definitely changed over the years.
And why do you think that's changed? Is it just like things are getting looser? Or
I don't really know. They've made a couple modifications to the rulings, and just like with anything, whenever you give people an inch, they take a mile.
Sure.
And you know, just
4-3.
needs a little bit of recalibrating with the amendment, maybe amendment made to the to the rules by the USRA.
Serves 4.
Fortunate error there for Herrera, causes him a side out.
Serves 3.
Now both Bobby Horn and Anthony Herrera are Gearbox sponsored players. If you guys want to check out the gear and the rackets that these guys are using, go to gearboxrb.com. Bobby will get a second serve.
Wow, what a great get. Oh,
That's
I
going
actually
2
thought
bounces.
that was.
Serves 4.
Yeah, Horn a little frustrated here, but starting out stronger than he did in game 1. He finished game 1 strong, but Bobby Horn still taking it 15-7. Now Horn's opportunity here in the service box.
Wow.
Just out of reach.
He really handled that shot there great. Kind of took a weird bounce, and he dropped down and put himself in great posture and position and executed a nice shot.
Now it's still pretty hot and humid here in Florida, but after last week in Georgia, what's the difference with the humidity in the courts here this weekend at the Sarasota YMCA?
Well, I have a little bit of experience playing at this club, and actually last year I competed in another tournament that was here, a large tournament, and just in 2 days' time I went through 34 shirts.
Oh my gosh!
And the humidity and heat here at this tournament is pretty
serious,
abnormal compared to the average place. Good thing we are kind of into the fall, so it's not as bad as spring. But tournaments here throughout the summer and spring are hot.
Yeah. The humidity is no joke.
Absolutely. It will, if you don't keep hydrated and plenty of electrolytes, you will physically wear down quick in this tournament.
And so how do these courts compare to maybe the courts last year? I know some of the players were saying the courts are a little slower. I know in Atlanta we had 3 cement walls. Here it's a little different. What did you notice when you were out there on the courts this weekend?
The floors here are parquet. It's an older style wood flooring. They grab more because the way that the wood is installed, they're not just parallel going to the front wall as the side. They kind of they're perpendicular and parallel to the walls. So what that does is you have more, cracks in between the wood opposing the ball when it bounces. So the ball actually slows down on the serve, and the courts were just recently urethane, so it's the ball bounces differently here than in other clubs, especially when they have the long, wood boards going straight. And some of the courts down here are a little older. You get a little bit of inconsistencies with the front wall. A lot of times you think it's a skip or a bad serve, but it's actually just the unevenness on the front wall. About I'd say the lower 2 feet of this court here has some unevenness on the front wall. So it can be tricky, and the ball can bounce variably. You have to be careful.
Well, as Herrera creeps up to Horn and ties it up 6-6, Horn calls a timeout. We'll be right back in just a moment. And we're back in game 2 of our Suncoast Open quarterfinal. Herrera up now by 2, 8 serving 6.
Great shot.
Herrera able to capitalize and stay strong, as Horn had called that timeout when they tied it up at 6-6.
Just short. What a great get.
Just short.
For all the viewing audience out there, if you notice when you watch Bobby how he sets up and positions himself, he does a remarkable job of getting set and getting in the right position just before he strokes the ball. If you watch some of the other players, they hit on the run or they don't set up as well, but Bobby has excellent footwork. If you watch him, he does a great job in setting up. Just a little keynote out there for you guys wanting to improve.
Yeah, good tip. Get that footwork in order. Ooh, nice. 2 nice gets from Horn as he gets up. Now, I don't know what Bobby's looking for there from the ref. Or
I'm not sure either. I think he may
just
have
wants some applause from the crowd, or what?
I think he may have contacted Anthony on his one dive.
Okay.
There he revealed he was looking for a screen, but there would not be any screen in that case.
I guess he thought he'd try, though, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Big swing there from Herrera for a point.
Anthony seems to own that corner right now. Last several points he's executed have been out of that right corner.
Yeah, he's come back in game 2, really determined against Horn.
10-6.
Ooh.
Took a bad bounce.
Yeah, that came off a little funny there.
6 serves 10.
Ooh, not sure about that. I thought that was just over the line. Tough to see with such a good serve.
Yeah, Herrera seems to be putting a little extra on it right now, as he's really focused on sending this second game and the match into tiebreaker. Ooh.
Wow, great touch.
Went for that soft touch there in the front.
Sometimes those are the hardest shots to execute. It seemed to be so simple.
They look
so much
so
pressure,
simple.
especially
Yeah.
with somebody like David. He can just get everything. You have to really do it right.
Yeah, nicely executed there by Herrera.
Good call by the ref, short.
Both these players are two very relentless pros out there on the court right now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens and if we do go to breaker.
Timeout.
Looks like Bobby's going to go ahead and take a timeout, see if he can refocus here in game 2. We'll be right back in just a few moments. And we're back live in Game 2 of the 2015 Suncoast Open quarterfinal between Anthony Herrera, who is starting to dominate here in Game 2, against David Bobby Horn.
12 serve
I'm Laura
6.
McCormick with the WRT, and joining me on the mic today is Jeremy Best. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Laura.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, we've seen some great rallies here between the two of them, both former USA team members and doubles partners. So it's always interesting to see them battle it out here on the courts. Coming up right after this, we have more
6 serves, 12.
quarterfinals today. At 11, we'll have Jake Bredenbeck versus Christian Longoria. And after that, at 12 p.m., we have Andre Parilla versus Sebastian Franco. And at 1 p.m., number 1, Alex Cardona against number 8, Jaime Martel. So don't go anywhere, folks. There's lots more racquetball to come here this weekend at the 2015 Suncoast Open. Nice shot from Herrera, puts him back in the service box. So, Jeremy, what do you think? You think we're going to go to breaker?
It's very possible here.
12 serve 6.
We only got a couple points till the game's over.
It was a very diplomatic and neutral answer, Jeremy. Thank you.
Well, one thing that happens is when you're
13 serve
up
6.
13-6 on someone, they have to just about score 4 points to your every one, and
Sure.
the odds become very low.
Well, maybe Bobby heard you. Let's see if he can get those 4 points to 1 right
13.
here. Bobby does have a reputation for making some incredible comebacks here. There's 1 point.
7 serves 13. Eight serves 13.
It's not as customary today as it used to be, but in times past there was a lot of trash talk and comical statements and things to put people out of their game with pressure. It doesn't seem culturally accepted as much today, but
Sure, yeah.
I remember back 20 years ago where a player didn't just have to worry about playing his game, he had to worry about not getting his head out of the game.
10 serves
Right.
13.
We were talking about how important that mental focus is, and that trash talking has a big effect on that for sure.
True. It's just not as common today as it was 20 years ago, for sure.
We have a special filter on our court mic too, kind of filters out all the trash. Just keeps the
13
keeps
serves
the
10.
ball in there.
Well, that's great.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
I actually thought that serve was short. And
10
then
serves
what a
13.
great return. It just got Anthony out. When you're playing at this level, 1 point or 1 rally can absolutely make the difference in a match. Great get.
Ooh. Nice low shot there from Horn.
Looks like Bobby's
11 serves 13.
closing some of the gap here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's game on now.
skip there after a couple shots, really playing that left corner there. Herrera still up by 2 here in game 2. Let's see if he can close out and send it to Breaker after Bobby on a 4-point run to catch up.
Yeah. Bobby's reduced the odds of getting 4 points to everyone down to about 2 to everyone, or 1.5. This game is still in the works. Oh, great side shot. Nicked off the sidewall there.
Serves 11.
Well, this makes it game point now for Anthony Herrera. All right, and an error there from Horn means this game's going to tiebreaker. Well, of course, we want to hear from you fans at home, so go to Facebook and Twitter at World R-Ball Tour and let us know who you think is going to win the breaker and head on to the semifinals. We'll be right back with game 3 right after this. And we're back live with game 3 of our first quarterfinal here between David Bobby Horn, who we see out there on the court, and Anthony Herrera. Horn taking game 1 15-7, Herrera answering back to take game 2 15-11, and here we are in the breaker 0-0. Remember, the breaker is first to 11, win by 1. I'm Laura McCormick with the WRT, and joining me on the mic today is Jeremy Best. Thank you, Jeremy. You've been doing a great job so far. I hope you're enjoying your first live broadcast experience here with the WRT.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I haven't stuttered or slipped over my tongue, but I'm doing all right.
Well, I think we're in for quite a show today. So I like to put pressure on my co-host. You were very diplomatic in game 2, but I'm looking for an answer here. Who do you think's going to take this and move on to the semifinals?
I think Bobby's going to win this game, actually.
All right.
First game, he dominated. Second game, he got in a slump. And towards the end of that last game, he just had too high of a mountain to climb to beat Anthony because he got so many points up on him. We'll see if he can continue that same pattern and take him out here in game 3.
2-0.
All right, we got our referee Brent Walters coming out to clarify that call a little bit. Puts Herrera in the service box.
0-2.
Ooh. Bobby pumping himself up here a little bit. He's been super determined all year long, chasing the #1 spot.
Where is Bobby currently now in the rankings?
Currently ranked number 4 on the WRT.
And he's behind?
We have Alex Cardona in number 1, Jake Bredenbeck in number 2, and Polo Gutierrez still holding on in number 3. Unfortunately, Polo is injured right now, has to take some time off.
Oh, okay.
Could cost him a little bit there in the rankings, too. Shout out to Polo if he's watching, of course.
Yeah, we several players in Atlanta were very encouraged and excited to see Polo, and a little disappointed he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
And here we are in Florida again, and he's not here. And actually didn't know he was injured. So to all you out there, Atlanteans, if you're watching, that's why.
There he is.
What happened to him?
I believe it's an elbow injury. I think he's been nursing it for some time. It kind of like comes and goes. And it's here right now. It's not going anywhere just yet. He needs to take some time to do some rehab. So
3 serves 1.
Oh, wow.
I know he has about 2 more months. Yeah, and then he'll be hoping to get back out here and rejoin the WRT. See if he can rise back up in the ranks. These guys are eager to take a spot. Ooh, nice rally in game 3. And there's an advantage for Herrera.
1 serves 3.
Nice down the line shot from Bobby. Gives him the side out. Now that's one thing I've noticed. I'm obviously a novice at racquetball, but hoping to get out there on the court a couple more times. And I know you want to keep these guys running. If you just have them camped out in the middle of the court, their feet are set, they're going to hit every ball, but playing those angles is really helpful. Jeremy, what's your insight? You have lots more experience than I do, but what's part of your strategy when you're out there on the court? Are you wearing people out? I know you're one of the more powerful players as well, but...
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't normally worry about wearing people out as much, as more as I do executing shots. I do try to, take mine where my opponent is. So,
nice
for example, if you hit a splat, it actually does matter where you make contact on the side wall, because if you hit, a splat that comes more towards the middle, the distance that your opponent has to run to actually get that ball is not as far as if you hit a splat with a better angle that goes more towards, the furthest point that he's at. So the same way works with every shot. Passes, crosses, pinches. So it's very important that you work on where you hit it and how you hit it, so that your opponent has just a foot more to go or 2 foot more to go, and all of that results in, improper footwork when they're stroking the ball. So definitely keeping your
complex strategy.
Correct.
Yeah.
So definitely keeping your opponent running and moving and off pace. A lot of times players that are really good will change the heights and the speeds, the angles. All of those things have a way of dictating how your opponent moves. Sometimes being consistent in the rallies is not good either, because they get used to it.
Yeah, you don't want them to find that rhythm. And
exactly. So changing pace, changing, just your overall game strategy is very good to do. Keep them always looking out for what you're doing.
Well, it's definitely not easy being a pro. You got that whole bag of tricks there and a lot of mental going on when you're out there. But
well, half the time we forget when we're on the court. But
it's just the ball in you, right?
We're all professionals off the court.
Of course.
Wow, great get. Yeah, it's definitely 2.
2 bounces. Some tough rallies here between Bobby Horn and Anthony Herrera.
As I was saying earlier, it's just important that Anthony gets up a few points here to close that gap. If not, he has a 3-to-1 odds to get back to the finish line at this point.
2 serve 6.
He needs to get at least 2 or 3 points and then get back in the box after that.
Oh,
it's definitely unavoidable. I've actually been watching some of Bobby's patterns here, but when he gets a backhand setup right there about where the short line is, he likes to reverse pinch it, or actually about 3 times out of every one, he'll hit a reverse backhand pinch, and then the other times he'll hit a standard pinch. Noticing that's not as effective as he's liking it to. He's leaving it up a little bit and giving Anthony a chance to get to it.
Our ref, Brent Walters, calling a court hinder, as it does kind of bounce funny there off the door. So
yes.
That'll be a replay then.
3 serve 6.
There it is. Anthony's doing really good here to close that gap.
4 serve 6.
For those of you watching at home, there's lots more racquetball to come here as we're live at the 2015 Suncoast Open. Coming up right after this, Jake Bredenbeck versus Christian Longoria. At 12 p.m., we have Andre Parilla versus Sebastian Franco. And at 1 p.m., Alex Cardona versus Jaime Martel. And of course, later on tonight at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have the semifinals at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's tough to hear out there on the court. Can't hear anything. We got our ref popping in there to let him know what's going on. Skip for Horn.
Bobby seems to be getting a little frustrated and concerned about the closing the gap here.
5 serve 6.
Yeah, I think he needs to tighten up
He
his
should be.
mental focus. Yeah,
Yeah,
if he
he
doesn't
needs
want to
to.
feel that pressure and not let the frustration take over. Short serve. Herrera on a roll there and then beating himself with that skip.
6 serves 5.
Well,
Been
Anthony
pretty
knows
passionate out there.
these games are won and lost on one play sometimes. There it is, 7-5.
Remember,
7
this
serves 5.
third game is first to 11.
Looks like Horn's changing up some of the service patterns. See if he can get some different results. There it is.
Ooh, nice skip by Anthony. Smart placement from Horn playing those corners.
Eight serves 5.
Second serve. We do have a special giveaway option here this weekend for those of you watching. If you share the live streaming link on Facebook and Twitter and you tag at World Arball Tour, you'll automatically be entered to win a free gearbox giveaway. Let's go ahead and share that link and help grow the sport of racquetball to WRT. Ooh,
Wow,
nice
great get.
Oh, nice soft hands there from Bobby. We've seen some great front court play from both players here so far this match. Some long rallies here, and the third game, these guys must be tired. Wiping down the courts. We are in Sarasota, Florida here this weekend playing at the Sarasota YMCA. Looks like Anthony Herrera is calling a timeout, so we'll be right back right after this.
Timeout.
And we're back live in Game 3 of our first quarterfinal match of the day at the 2015 Suncoast Open. Anthony Herrera calling that timeout, seeing if he can shake Horn off his game a little bit, who is up by 4 now. 2 away from potentially closing out the match.
Wow. Really got a good shot there above his shoulders.
10 serves 5.
Match point for Bobby Horn.
There it is.
Well, that means David Bobby Horn is the winner of our first quarterfinal match. We're going to take a moment, get down on the court, and hear from Bobby Horn. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Jeremy, for joining me on the broadcast.
Thank you, Laura.